how are you? Welcome back to my channel for week 4 Halloween-a-thon. We're going to be talking about Fall Festival, Macabre Masquerade Night, got to go to a book release party, and we're going to be talking about a few books. Before we get into it, here is a little clip. back. First we'll talk about, you saw in the clip, I got to meet James Cooper, who is the author of Moonlit Massacre. I was invited to his book release party in Oklahoma City. I didn't know him personally before I got to read Moonlit Massacre. He had sent me a digital copy. And you guys have heard me talk about the book. I did get a physical copy of it, which is here. And I love it. I love the yellow. I like how it's like pops of yellow. I love this cover. But let me tell you, it was the first time I've ever been to a release party. It's the first time I've ever been there on the very release day when a book comes out, and it is truly special. It was amazing. He had a very good turnout. It was like at a bookshop, and also the publisher was there, his editor was there, and yeah, the place was packed. All the seats were filled, and then there were all these people standing everywhere in 2 rooms. So a very good turnout, because he's a councilman, and then also he's a college professor. So yeah, he had a really good turnout. But yeah, it was really special to be there for that. And he actually read from the book, and he acted out the characters, and it made me love the book even more to actually hear him act out the characters. And they're talking about, you know, doing an audiobook eventually. The audiobook will eventually be out, and I really hope he actually reads. He actually does the reading for the audiobook, because he did really good. I mean, amazing. So yeah, and he signed it for me, and I love what he signed. It says, "Ashley, my first critic, my favorite response, grateful." And I've never been called a critic before, but it was really funny. Like, I consider myself a book reviewer, but it was really hilarious to hear myself being called a critic. So yeah, really great. Also, just so you guys know, I told you guys that this book was very close to being a 5-star, and I went back and forth on my rating for this, and my only issue was the pacing. Having heard him talk about this book, and one of the questions was why he chose to write in present tense, which this did not bother me at all that it was in present tense. I actually really liked that it was in present tense, because it kind of put me into the story. But anyways, that was one of the questions that somebody asked him, and he said that the reason that he chose present tense was to slow the reader down. He wanted to, you know, everybody gets in such a rush and wants to rush through the stories and all of that, and he chose present tense to slow the reader down. And you know, whenever I talked about this book before, you heard me say that there were parts that were a lot slower, and you're getting to know the characters, and you know, you're getting to know their struggles and all that. And you know, there are parts that are a lot slower, and then during the slashing parts, those parts, like you're there, and you're like, that I was in those parts so much that my neighbor dropped something upstairs and I jumped. And he said that he did that intentionally, to where during the slower parts that he intentionally wanted to slow you down, and then to where in the slashing parts that you feel like you're there. So he really said that. He literally said that whenever he was talking to everybody. So yeah, that was very much intentional on his part. So anyways, this yeah, like the pacing was very much intentional. So I've decided to give this 5 stars. I have since edited my rating, which I don't do very often. The pacing was, you know, like it was slower in parts, but it was very much intentional. He very much wanted to slow the reader down. He wanted you to feel the story. He wanted you to feel the characters, feel the setting, and very effective. So just wanted to let you guys know that I have since edited my rating and upgraded this to a 5-star, which I told you guys it was very close anyways. So I got to meet James Cooper, And you guys saw that in the clip, a little bit of that in the clip. I didn't get a lot because I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to just enjoy the experience of his reading and just being there. And it was a really good experience. I had a good time. I went to a fall festival. Didn't get any clip of that because there were so many people and I didn't want to get anybody, you know, in the clip that I didn't have their permission. But also there were a lot of kids, but it was in my old town that I used to live in. Used to work for that city. Used to work for city government. And so I saw some old coworkers that I used to work with. That was fun. And aw, there's a little squirrel out my window. He's like doing a little dance. Aw, he's got a mouthful of something. Anyways, so cute. But got to see some of my old coworkers. That was a lot of fun. Kids painted pumpkins. There was a bounce house. There were booths everywhere. I'm on like a spending freeze at the moment, so I'm saving for Christmas and all those things. But my kids had a little bit of their own money, so I let them spend their own money. But they had fun. I did win a caramel apple. I should have got a picture of it, but it looked so good that I ate it. Because they had a drawing when we came in, and my name was drawn within like 10 minutes of being there, and I won a giant caramel apple, and the flavor was Oreo, which I didn't expect to like, but it was like a dusting of Oreo, and it still had the caramel, and oh, it was really good. I really should have gotten a picture, but it was so good that I couldn't wait. But they had freeze-dried candy. I didn't get any. I wanted some so bad, but like I said, I can't spend any money right now. That was fun. And it didn't feel like fall that day because the temperature has decided to go back to feeling more summery, which sucks. But eventually we'll go back down. Then I went to, my husband and I got to go to a Macabre Masquerade Night. That was a really good time. So it's hosted by Artrageous Art Hub, which is in Sherman, Texas. The owner, Shell, I love her. She is so much fun. Just full of personality. She's just one of those people that's just so fun to be around. But she was the host. She had various different sponsors and hosts and mostly like local artists. And there are all these all this artwork on the wall from local artists, and it's all like macabre in nature and dark and spooky. But you go in and the lights are, the lights are off, so it's all like candlelight, mood lighting. And then she had charcuterie boards and cookies, and there was wine, and then there's some like cute tables set up, just really cute. I love the decoration. And then you go down the hallway, and then she had this one room is just, the door is just cracked and it's dark in there, and there are some creepy dolls. And then there's another room where you go and it's like a maze set up, and then at the end is a selfie station. That was fun. And then you go down farther, and then the bathroom is red room, and it had red lighting. So it was just a whole mood, a whole vibe. And then the Sherman Symphony Orchestra was there, and they were playing. They had the best music. It was really fun. They played Thriller. I heard Billie Eilish and all different really good music. Amazing. You saw them in the clip as well, but just, it was a whole vibe, a whole mood. Everybody there was really nice. It was just a really fun group of people. I met a lot of new people there that I hadn't met before. Just a really fun event. I'll post a picture here of mine and my husband's outfits. This is the dress I was telling you guys about that my old boss gave me, because she happened to be 4'11" too. So it's just been in my closet, and this is the first time I ever wore it. So my outfit, my costume, actually won the costume contest. So I won a giant bouquet of roses that was from a local florist, Hannah's Florist from Sherman. And it had little bats in it. It had glitter. It was a whole vibe. I love this flower arrangement. It's so gorgeous. So I won that. Did not expect that at all. But because there were some really pretty costumes there, really pretty, and really creative costumes too. yeah, just all in all, a really fun night. Really, really had a good time. And they will be having this next year as well. She said she's going to start having this every year. And yeah, I cannot wait for next year. That was my week as far as activities go. Had just a lot of fun. And we'll get into the books that I read. I read 3. Well, I read others, but this is the ones that I read specifically for Halloween-a-thon because I have other things going on too. The first book I read was The Hocus Pocus Magic Shop by Abigail Drake. I read this one for a local book club at the local bookshop. And this was actually really cute. I enjoyed it. Nice and cozy. But this one follows Grace. Grace has a lot going on. She's on a break from her prestigious college, and I guess you could say, and also she's in the middle of her dissertation, but she's also taking care of her aunt's magic shop. Her aunt's very quirky and eccentric, but anyways, she finds this book of spells and concocts a love potion just as a joke. Like, she's just playing around and concocts this love potion, but it ends up working. The love potions she ends up putting on they end up going on the shelves at the magic shop, and they end up working. So she's dealing with some consequences of that, and that's all I'll really say about that. But then also she has her love interest, Dario Fontana, which is a great name, by the way. He's not the typical love interest that you normally see in these books. I really ended up liking him because he's just not the typical. That's all I'll really say about him. But Grace just has a lot going on. She's dealing with this thing with her job. She's dealing with her dissertation. She's dealing with her, very eccentric, quirky aunt. And then she's just got a lot going on. And she's very analytical and scientific minded. But, yeah, so, and then these love potions that she accidentally concocted. There's a lot more going on in this book than just that, but I won't give anything away. Just that this is very fun. Had a really good time with it. Just cozy, mysterious. It surprised me. I thought I had everything figured out, but this one surprised me. I did not have everything figured out like I thought I did. And, yeah, this was just a lot of fun and made me laugh out loud a few times. Loved it. Great autumnal, Halloween, cozy, just witchy, great time. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Next up, I read The Halloween Store by Ronald Kelly. This is a book of short stories. This one, so some of these were hits, a lot of them were misses, honestly. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. So the one, hang on, I don't even remember the name of the ones I liked. Oh, Clown Treats. Clown Treats was my favorite. That's the one I ended up liking the most. It's about a creepy clown. Name, I think his name was Chuckles. Was it Chuckles? What was his name? Chuckles, yeah. So Clown Treats was my favorite. It was about a creepy clown named Chuckles. That one was super creepy and original. I felt like I don't think I've read anything like that one before. A lot of them weren't really that original. I feel like a lot of them have been kind of done before. The first one I kind of liked. The first one was pretty nostalgic, but it was called The Halloween Store, which is what it was named after. And it was a lot like R.L. Stine's The Haunted Mask, The Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask, but it was like The Haunted Mask, but a more adult version of it. Well, no, not really an adult version of it. It was like The Haunted Mask on steroids, is what I would say. It was like, he like took The Haunted Mask and he like expanded on it, I guess you could say, is what I would say about that. And it was more gory, and it was more gory and more disturbing. So I guess you could say it was like The Haunted Mask, but like a much more gory disturbing adult-ish version, but it still featured kids. So yeah. So there were a couple in here that didn't work for me at all, like that I was just yeah. But anyways, there were a couple in here that I really liked. Clown Treats, like I said, was my favorite. I really liked that one a lot, but a lot of these were just complete misses. But yeah, I ended up giving it 3 stars. Definitely Halloween vibes. A couple of them were really nostalgic and a lot of fun. So next up, I wanted to put a picture of this one here because I read this one on Kindle Unlimited because I can't spend money right now. And I read this one for, I'm in a TikTok live book club, and let me know if anybody would like to join a TikTok live book club, because we're always looking for more people to join, and we meet every Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. Central Time, and like there's no obligation if ever like you can't meet, or you know, if there's a book you want to skip or whatever. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty flexible. And basically how it works is we have a Google Sheets that everybody can add books to that they're interested in, and it's not horror. It's not really a horror book group. It's honestly, it's more like there's no genre off limits, but it's not really a horror book group. Like a lot of people are into like literary fiction, or like I kind of read The Room, and a lot of them are more into like literary fiction or things like that. But so I've been adding, like, you know, I've been adding more literary fiction to the list. But anyways, because I just kind of read The Room and saw, but there's no genre off limits, but I just figured it wasn't like a horror group, you know what I mean? Because it's not for everybody. But anyways, but I read everything, and it's kind of like a way for me to talk about literary fiction, because a lot of my other groups aren't into that. A lot of my groups are more horror, so I've been able to talk about the stuff I can't talk about in other groups there, you know what I mean? So anyways, if anybody would like to join that group, let me know, because we're always looking for more people. But how it works is everybody adds what group they would be interested in on there, and then once a month we spin a wheel and it chooses our book for us. That's how it works. And then if you ever want to skip a book, you just don't read it that month. Not a big deal. But and then we read a quarter of the book at a time, 25% at a time, and then we talk about that whatever percent we're at every Saturday. So we all join live at the same time. One person hosts it. You don't ever have to host it. You're not obligated to host it. But whoever wants to host it, they host, and then they just invite everybody to join, and we all join at the same time. And yeah, it's pretty casual, and we all just get on there and talk about the book, and it's really fun. I've had a really good time with it. It's gotten me out of my comfort zone a little bit on TikTok, and it kind of helps like boost your TikTok if you're interested in that. But I've really liked it. I thought I would be terrified, but actually it's very comfortable. And yeah, so anyways, this is one that was chosen for the first one, and it actually ended up being thriller. So, and a lot of people were like, oh, I don't like thriller. And that's how I realized that people weren't really into that on this group. But I'm not the one that chose it, actually. Somebody else chose it. And, which is fine. And even people that weren't into thriller were like, you know, I'm going to give it a try, because I knew I'm going to get out of my comfort zone with this, and I'm going to try it anyway. So that was cool. And, you know, I'll read anything. So I was like, yeah, cool. But anyways, the book that we chose for our first month is, The Last Word by Taylor Adams, which I'm going to post a picture of here. Not really Halloween, but I did count it as Halloween-a-thon because it had the remote setting, which is one of our prompts. This one follows Emma. Emma lives in a very remote setting. She lives on the Washington coast, very remote setting, and she is house sitting. One day, she 1-star reviews this book, and she's very hesitant to post it. She kind of has some reservations about it even. She's like, I feel kind of bad posting this 1-star review because, you know, but I really didn't like it. And, you know, so but she still, like, before she clicks the button, she has this kind of reservation about it. Like, should I post it? Because I feel kind of bad about posting this 1-star review, but nah, I'm just going to do it anyway. So she posts it. And she's, like, pretty brutal in her review. But she does it anyways. And the author kind of fires back at her about it and says, you know, kind of demands her to take the review down. And she's like, no. And they kind of get into it online a little bit. And yeah, she doesn't take her review down, even though he kind of demands her to take it down. And anyways, the only other, she doesn't have anybody at all. She has her dog, Leica, and then she has a neighbor, Deke. Her neighbor is, like, really interesting. And she never actually talks to Deke. The only way that they talk is through a whiteboard, and they see each other through a telescope, and they play hangman and stuff on this whiteboard, she and her neighbor Deke. And then also she talks to her, the lady that she house sits for, via text. Otherwise, she has no communication to anybody else. Anyways, after this 1-star review happens, crazy things start happening. These weird things start happening, and she starts to think, hey, maybe it's this author that I 1-star reviewed. Yeah. So, yeah, and all these creepy things start happening. And that's all I really say about it. This book is freaking wild. It's insane. Yeah. Setting is really good, because, you know, it is very remote. It's, she's in the middle of nowhere. She doesn't have anybody. Perfect setting for a thriller. You know what I mean? It's absolutely perfect. It's so funny because she bashed, I don't believe this is a spoiler because it happened right in the beginning, but she bashes the book, like the 1-star book. One of the things that she said was, oh, well, you know, this isn't a believable thing because, oh, you know, she said, this isn't believable because, oh, just so happens that these people perfectly put themselves in this remote setting. These people perfectly put themselves in the middle of nowhere. They have no cell phone signal. They have no internet, whatever. And she, like, bashes this perfect setting for this thriller novel. But yet she is in a remote setting. She has no signal. She has, you know what I mean? Like, it just, so anyhow, yeah, this book was bonkers. It was bonkers. Perfect setting. She herself is dealing with some things, which is how she found herself in where she is. Like, she's just house sitting in the middle of nowhere. She's kind of isolated herself. And that's all I can say, really, except for that it was crazy. It was on the edge of it, definitely on the edge of your seat the whole time. And it literally the whole time. It does not give you a chance to rest. There is no resting with this book. Once it goes off the rails, it stays off the rails. There is no time to, like, relax ever. There's no, like, catching your breath. There's no taking a break. It is heart racing the whole time, it felt like. And that's, like, my complaint with it, is that it was almost trying too hard. Like, I love a good twist, but it felt like it was never gonna end, the twist, because it was like twist, 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 twist. Like, it just almost would not stop. It was like, I think there's such a thing as too many twists. I really do. And I've never encountered that before with the book until now. Because it just felt like it was never going to stop ever. There was so many freaking twists in this book. To the point it was almost overboard. It was over the top with the twists. Because it was like, you felt like it was over, and it was like, oh, but wait, there's more. You know, you're like, okay, that has to be it. And it was like, oh, wait, but there's more. And you're like, that has to be it. Oh, wait, but there's more. It just felt like it was never going to stop. And to the point I'm like, please let this be over. Please let this be it. It's like, oh, wait, there's more. To the point it was almost over. It was unbelievable. And I've never had that happen before, but yeah, that was Yeah. But a couple of twists I think would have been sufficient, and I would have been satisfied, and it would have been like, it would have been good, and I would have been like, well, that was a good book. But then it just kept going and going and going and going to the point I'm like, well, that was exhausting. I was exhausted by the end of this. So, but yeah, I ended up giving this 3 stars. So, yeah. I don't know what everybody else thought about the end of it. The last meeting I got to go to was the 50% mark. 75% mark I didn't get to go to because of the fall festival I took my kids to. We have our last meeting this Saturday, so I don't know what everybody else thought about the end of it. We'll see. Last I saw, 3 of us were having a decent time, a good time with it, because that was the 50% mark, and it wasn't like 500 twists later. It was like we hadn't got all the twists yet. We hadn't even got a twist yet. So that time we were all having a good time, except for one of us that doesn't like thrillers, and that's understandable that she wasn't having fun. And she had flipped to the end because she has anxiety about thrillers, and she has to know how it ends to where she can like relax. But everybody else was having a good time, so I don't know how everybody feels about it yet. I'll let you guys know whenever I do my wrap up how everybody else felt about it, but I was exhausted, so yeah. Moving on. So those are all the books I read. That's everything I did. Yeah, I had a really good week. I had a lot of fun. I've had a really good month, actually. I have done more extroverted shit than I've ever done in my whole life, I think, this month. I don't know who I am anymore. It's gonna take me 2 months to recuperate, I think. I'm so tired. Yeah, I've done more peopling than I have ever done in my whole life. So, but it's okay. Maybe I'm changing. I don't know. But, so what to expect next week? Where's my book? Oh my God, I don't know. What? I don't even know. Hang on. Let me look. I'm not having a meltdown. I'm not having a meltdown. Stand by. Hang on, let me get my book. Don't move. Next week, yeah, it's gonna be another 2. Just because I have so much going on, I'm having to do 2 videos a week right now, but which is fine. So next Tuesday, you're gonna be getting my week 5 wrap up, and then next Friday you will be getting my November TBR. I'm not bringing back my TBR board game until after Christmas. I'm sorry about that, but just because I have so many readathons and stuff happening, it's just not feasible for me to do the TBR game right now. I really want to. I had a lot of fun with it, and I can't wait to bring it back, but I just had too much going on. So it'll be fun, and I'm gonna add some other rules to it. I'm gonna add some other fun things to it, so it'll be back and better than ever in January. So something to look forward to. And you guys can even, if you want to add rules to it, if you want to add comments, I'll give you guys the opportunity. So anyways, and what to expect with week 5. I'm just throwing a lot at y'all, I'm sorry, but so week 5, I have a lot coming at y'all next week. So week 5, what to expect: pumpkin patch, pumpkin carving. I am meeting CJ Lead, getting my copy of American Rapture and meeting CJ Lead. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. There will be movies. There will be books. My husband and I are doing a date night, and we're doing a spooky painting. So that'll be really cool. It's like one of those, so we each have half of the painting, and it's a spooky painting. So that'll be really cool. I'm excited about that. Also, I was invited to be on Hitting the Streets podcast. I will let you guys know, like I'll give you a link to it and let you guys know when it's out, but it will be out by the time week 5 comes out. So I will give you a link to it next week. So, and it's a Talk Horror to Me series. So that'll be a lot of fun. And that'll be on week 5. So yeah, all the things. I also have book club but that one I probably won't take you guys along to it, but I have book club as well. That's all happening week 5, and that's what you can expect next Tuesday. I will see you on Tuesday. Bye for now.